I stand naked before the mirror. Every morning of my life, I have seen that brown belly from every angle. It has not changed that I can remember. I was always a fat kid. I suck it in and expand an enormous chest of 2 large hunks of brown tit. Possibly I lost a pound here, a pound there. I put my hands to the hips, sandbag elbows out like wings, and turn profile to the floor length reflection. I tighten, suck in the air, and recall that Charles Atlas was 99-pound weakling when the beach bully kicked sand in his girlfriend's pretty face. Perhaps my old mother was right. I should lay off those Snicker bars, those liverwurst sandwiches with globs of mayonnaise, and those goddamn caramel sundaes. But look, if I suck it in just a wee bit more, surely come to pass if you but rid of yourself this extra flesh. I think all the bras you'll get. Think of all the bras you'll get if you trim down for a comfortable 200. I'm trying to do it, bro. I've been reading. I've been taking my acting classes.
Okay, that was really nice.
I've been reading about the brown buffalo.
Oh.
Oscar Acosta.
Yeah.
The brown buffalo. The guy that
Oscar Zeta Acosta. Yeah.
Oscar Zeta Acosta. He played the brown buffalo. He
was, dude.
A lawyer who fought for Chicano rights in the 60s. And he was the inspiration for which Hunter S. Thompson calls him
his attorney.
He called him a Samoan, but he's not Samoan.
No, he's not Samoan.
And he was very upset over that.
Yeah.
Because he should have said, what I really am, a Chicano.
Right.
Anyways, so
that guy, man,
for my acting class, I got this book right here, which is the one right there on the screen, the autobiography of the Brown Buffalo, and I'm gonna get a bunch of. I'm gonna make a whole monologue for me to read in my acting class. So that was like what I first found out.
Man, that's great. Is that where you got that from?
Yeah, so I made it.
I want to go and fucking read that. I want to read that or look at that myself. That was pretty dope.
So that was like the beginning of the book where he's looking at himself in a mirror all fat, bro.
Yeah.
And he's saying exactly how I feel every morning, bro.
Have you read that whole book?
Never. I got an Audible on my free credit.
Do you? I think I'm going to get that too.
Do you have free credits? I have like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I have a few free credits.
I remember you used to have like 7. Shout out to Audible.
Yeah, shout out to Audible. And also, Audible, if you want to send me some free credits, fucking, I don't know how that works. I don't know how anything works, but...
Send me your Venmo.
Yeah, dude. My Venmo is at butchescobar if you guys want to help out. Because I used to have like 8 or 9 credits when I met you, but all the credits have gone to the podcast. Like, mostly the podcast.
Mine too.
There's a few books that I've gotten on my own. Very spiritual person in that way, but I have mostly spent on, but I'm enjoying it. I love it. But if y'all want to help, throw down some Venmo and it'll go towards the podcast.
Also, if you ever like pass by Hollywood Boulevard on a Monday night or a Friday,
please,
or a Saturday,
yeah,
you at the Improv, just honk and say, "What's up? History for Foos."
And a lot of you have come through. My favorite thing, bro, is me being. I'm a doorman at the Improv, by the way. And I have to wear a uniform and everything. And I love that I'm like helping people. And I'll be like, name please. Okay, great. Party of 2. All right, let me just go and see your IDs. And I'll start to, and they'll go, hey, you're Butch Escobar. And they'll be like, I watch your podcast. Or I saw you at the Improv with Felipe. Dude, I love when you guys do that, man. It makes my whole day. Especially when you guys say I love the podcast. Cause
do you think you're the most known doorman at the Improv right now?
Yeah, I would say so.
I like people walking in.
Definitely.
Because people who come in from out of town, they recognize you. Like those people. There were some people from Naples.
Oh, from Naples. Shout out to that couple of Naples, man. You guys actually made my night because, almost all the stops I've been on with Felipe have been like a really, really wonderful time. But there's certain places that stick out to me. And Naples was one of them because people were so polite. The beaches were fucking wonderful. That part of Florida I just really, really liked for some reason. And then when you guys showed up like 2 weeks later, I wasn't even having the best night. And it made my night. It made me feel so good to see these people and they remembered my name. And the guy was like, hey, you're not Butch Escobar, are you? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, And she goes, no, that's not him. And I'm like, and I go, yeah, that's my name. And she goes, well, we were in Naples. And I was just in Naples 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. When we were in Naples, Florida, I don't know, we didn't mention it on this podcast too much at all. But we went to the hottest beach in America. Like this beach felt like going into...
Dude, I'll give you pictures
to post. This beach felt like... The beach is clean. But this beach felt like going into the bathtub after 5 people already used the same bathtub.
Yes.
Like, and it still looked like the perfect temperature.
And it was really turquoise blue, but it was milky because the water was so hot. You know when you pour hot water into a cup and it's milky because of the change in temperature? That's how it was milky. And fucking Felipe, dude, because I've only been in water this warm before, and that was in... and it wasn't even that warm.
Oh, so that was...
South Padre.
South Padre, oh my God, it was hot there too.
Bro, one thing about South Padre, that water is so salty. I could feel every little tiny opening.
That's oil from the oil.
Bro, that's what you told me later. I was like, I'm going to get cancer. But when we were in... And that's the thing is you told me that, and then we're in this one. You're all, this water makes me feel like there's going to be sharks here. And
it was warm, bro.
Bro, you want to know what happened, though, right after that? There were sharks attacks in that area, big time.
Later.
Like, a week later. There was, like, a more than average amount of shark attacks in Florida.
The people that were there, bro, they're going to just pure beer.
Yeah, dude.
We already tenderized all the beer we eat.
Bro. Oh, Mexicans must taste so good to sharks, dude.
We ran into a Raider fan there.
That's right, dude. Yeah, Naples was fun, dude. Naples was a big blast. Shout out to Off the Hook. Also, everybody was like, "Oh, you're going to Off the Hook? That's one of the best clubs I've ever been at." When I was telling people at the Improv, because people are always asking at the Improv like where I'm going next or where we're going next, and so when I said Off the Hook, they were
Captain
like,
Brian.
Captain Brian. Shout out to Captain Brian.
You know what it is though? That the club is a really nice club. It feels like a club, and they really take care of the comedians, and they have good food.
Right. Oh my God, the food there. That's the thing is a lot of times comedy clubs have very limited food items, and most of the time they're always burgers, mozzarella sticks.
Nothing against a paso if that's not your thing, you know.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Bro.
At this club, man, all they had for like to sell, they were selling chips.
That's crazy,
like
dude.
Doritos, bro.
Yeah.
And microwavable hot dogs.
Microwavable hot dogs are just wrong. That's
and a bag of chips.
Your mom doesn't have time because she's gambling.
A little container of cheese, right, that they microwave too. They were selling AMC movie food. AMC Studios. Oh, I need to mention this. I have a new podcast. It's sponsored by iHeartMedia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's on Spotify right now. It's called Nace una leyenda. No contaban con mi astucia. Nace una leyenda. Chespirito. Check it out on iHeartMedia, Spotify. There it is right there. No contaban con nuestra astucia. Ni con esta podcast. So there it is.
What's the podcast about?
The podcast is about Chespirito. Look him up right now. Chespirito, Roberto Gomez Bolaños.
Okay.
And I actually read on the podcast. I don't know. Are we allowed to show a clip? We are, right? Can we promoting it? Well, anyway, so I'll show it. I do a lot of talking and narrating on the podcast. And you can go listen to it right now. It's in Espanol. I tell you the whole history of El Chespirito, bro. From the beginning to the fights with Chilindrina. Es un chusma.
So this is his real life,
His
then?
real life, bro.
Oh, so this isn't like episodes.
Like I narrate, bro. Like you know what it felt like?
So it's a biography.
If it was like narrating, like, and it's 11 episodes.
Right.
And they're all like, man, they're all perfectly cut. It starts off with a bunch of ads already.
Okay.
You know, it's a scripted podcast, so. And we get in depth, bro, with Chapulín Colorado. No contamos con astucias. The heart with a CH.
Right.
And they asked, Anyway, so yeah, that's why I do the whole narrating in
Right,
Spanish.
right,
bro.
right.
It's weird.
Okay. So you kind of know the history of Chespirito
I
then.
know it all, bro. What you want to know?
Oh my God, bro! Like, what is
I
that?
found
Like,
out like stuff like I didn't know, like
so for me, dude,
his show, like Saturday Night Live, when they premiered,
uh-huh.
his show was already like Saturday Night Live before Saturday Night Live in the
Right,
70s,
right.
where it was a variety show with a bunch of comedians making sketches.
Okay.
And he was already in television for 20 years before he started his own show. He was a writer and a performer from another show. Like there was a show called El Show de Capolina y Verujas. It
Okay.
was this chubby man named Capolinas. Can you show a photo of him? And he wrote for that show and wrote movies, bro, for that guy for 20 years.
Wow, dude.
And there's a show called the Tracy Ullman Show that used to be in the 90s.
I remember that's where The Simpsons came from.
Yes, exactly. So she would go like this, and now for a little taste of The Simpsons, and then The Simpsons would be like a 3-minute cartoon, probably 2-minute cartoon on the Tracy Ullman Show.
Oh my God,
So
dude.
his show was called Los Super Genios and the Super Geniuses,
Okay.
and they used to be part of the show, the side show of that show. So one day they made him a whole show, and then that's how they got started.
Oh.
And the
okay.
reason they call him Chespirito is because when he was writing sketches for that other show, he would write hilarious sketches so fast that they would call him the little Shakespeare. Chespirito.
Get the fuck out of here.
So it's Chespirito.
That's an evolvement of a name
I'm
right
telling
there.
you, bro. Felipe Esparza. Not only am I the co-host with my partner in crime right here, who
Hell
always
yeah.
chimes, Butch Escobar. Also, I'm the king of worst lit information. I know a lot of stuff, interesting facts. Like if you ever stop me in the street for a photo, I'm guaranteeing you, I'm gonna kidnap you and hold on to your shoulder till you listen to me about why they do this. Anyway, so yeah, man.
Wow,
else you
bro.
got? What else you got?
Well, I would like to, dude. We should do an episode on Chespirito, dude. Like, even for me, bro. Listen, I'm the most pocho motherfucker you've ever known, bro. But I would still like say that I grew up. You know, my grandmother's
You're real pocho, bro. How did you pronounce that club? Azul or Asil?
azúcar.
And
But I used to say Azucar, yeah.
Azúcar. Even sounds better, bro.
Yeah, because that's how it looked to me. But
How?
Azucar.
And everybody says it like that?
And then they go, azúcar, you stupid fuck. So now I know better, bro. But
Azúcar.
you know what's funny, bro? Is
You know what, bro? If I was a wrestler,
Uh-huh.
I'll be like a wrestler, bro. But I'll be like a no sabo wrestler.
Right. He's the villain, a no
Yeah.
sabo villain.
Yeah. And like I hate that type of shit. Like I thought I'll say shit like,
Right.
bro, don't you go to Chespirito, bro? I'm gonna lie to you, bro. I never thought I was funny.
Right. Yeah.
Like a no sabo kid.
You want to know
And
something, bro?
he goes, oh, man, how was the night? It was a shoe scar, bro. She was ass scar. What do you mean? Azúcar? Nah, bro, ass scar. Bro. That's the way I say it. Nothing's gonna change me. But when it comes back to when I was working on that show, the podcast, I would say stuff, and then like I know how to say certain phrases in Spanish, a lot of phrases in Spanish.
Right.
But I didn't grow up speaking Spanish. Well, I grew up speaking Spanish, but my Spanish is not that great. You know, like for you it's great because you don't
Right.
speak a lick.
Yeah.
But my Spanish is only as good as my mom's and dad's Spanish.
Right.
My dad didn't go to school after 6th grade, so you're talking to an idiot right here in Spanish. So
This whole time I was fooled.
so there you go, bro. Don't you speak Spanish?
Right.
Yeah, bro. Up to 6th grade.
Right.
But you start giving me paragraphs and phrases and all that stuff.
Like complicated words.
No sé.
You're no sabe as
That was this
well.
motherfucker right here.
You know what's funny though? Here's the thing, man. I just moved
And it works for English too.
I just moved into an apartment full of South American and Central American people. There's only one other guy from Mexico there. And
They watch novelas and soccer.
well, they drink and smoke a lot of weed, and we all hang out. And here's the thing, bro, and I didn't know this because this is something I realized. One of the reasons why I'm not good at speaking Spanish, and even my uncles, my mom, my grandparents all spoke Spanish. One of the reasons why I realized I didn't is because anytime I made an attempt to learn to speak Spanish and I would get the words wrong, I would get ridiculed or laughed at. And now I'm learning Spanish in this house because apparently that's a Mexican thing to like make fun of people because these other people are not making fun of me. But this is where I realized something's different. My roommate's he's black. He's from where's Maduro in Venezuela? He's from Venezuela, right? He's this black dude from Venezuela. And one day we text each other words and then we translate them. And one day he writes, "Is brown bad?" And I said, like, do cops think, in America, does white society think brown is bad? Is that what you're asking me? And he said, no, is brown bad? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, Mexican. And he goes, Mexican, because he doesn't know how to say Mexican. And I go, are you asking me if Mexicans are bad people? And he's like, yeah. And he said that and then all the other guys started to chime in, and all of them said that the hardest part of their journey to America was going through Mexico, and the meanest people that they work with are Mexicans. And then his buddy goes, and he says in Spanish, they don't even like each other. I died, bro. I died. I was like, that's just us? Wait a minute, dude. That's just us? We're so fucking mean to each other, bro. They're mean he says they pick on him all the time. They call him names that he didn't even know existed.
Hold on, bro. There's a comment you gotta read right there. This guy's such a menso, bro. He don't know that. That's the way the colonizers have us now.
Yeah, bro. For real, dude. It's crazy. Bro,
it's crazy, right?
It's crazy. The other thing is, because he said brown, and to me, because he's the only black guy that's from Venezuela there, they're all like, they're brown to me, but they think they're white, bro. They look at us as that we're brown.
Yeah, because see, in that country, like, people don't understand, like Haiti, like they're black, right?
Right.
They're like that's the first country who kicked the French out, and they were the first free country. Like you can be a slave. They kicked all the white people out, and they're not slaves no more.
Right.
Because they don't want to be slaves. But they still owe a debt to France, bro. Fuck all that.
Right, yeah.
Whatever. So Dominican people from the Dominican Republic, they're like their country is like unity. They're united.
Right.
Like whether you're white in that country or black,
it don't matter.
you're Dominican first.
Right.
You're Dominican Republican first. There's no such thing as, well, I'm white. No, you're Dominican.
There's no color.
There's no color, bro.
There,
everybody's together, like as one, because they fought when they fought Spain for their freedom, to become the Dominican Republic.
Right.
That was the thing that they wrote. You're gonna fucking throw a leash. Like you're gonna in order to live here. You can't say you're this, that. You're gonna be Dominican only.
Right.
They got pride.
I love that.
Pride of
what
the
the
country.
fuck would happen?
So that's why when you see a Dominican in a television, you say, "I'm not black." He's not.
Right.
He didn't grow up here.
Right.
He didn't grow up in our customs.
Right.
To label him like that.
Right.
So in a way you're talking down on him. He feels to him you're talking down on him because over there in his country. He's free.
That's the thing, bro, is these guys...
He's free over there.
These guys don't talk shit to... He's the only black guy. It's all Venezuelan guys. And a couple of them are actually white. And one of them is like a brown guy like me. But this guy's black. He's obviously he's got an afro. And they don't fuck with him. They don't have a nickname for him that is like correlated to his skin color. And it really made me wonder, bro.
Bro, it was weird. I made me wonder too because... When I was in junior high, like some black kid moved in from out of nowhere.
Right.
And his name was Carlos.
Oh, okay.
And they go, no way.
Yeah, dude.
But I couldn't believe it. And he was
I'd never seen that either.
I was trying to look at real names to see who was lying.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that was like
Carlos, and he was like, he was born Carlos, whatever his last name was, man. Carlos Cody, whatever. And like the comedian.
Yeah.
And he was just Carlos. But in the back of my head, I said, nah, this fool's name is Charles.
He's just trying to fit in. He's just trying
And
to
there was
fit
a
in.
racist dude up in my class. He goes, nah, bro, that's Carlos Quinto. And I go, what the fuck is Carlos Quinto? And look at what Carlos 5 is. And I didn't get it, bro.
King Charles V? Or
No,
like,
look. Like a snack.
oh, it is. It is. Yeah.
Look at Carlos Quinto
Yes,
candy
dude.
bar.
I see these all the time at the store. Is that Carlos Quinte? Is that what that how you would say that?
Yeah, but he would call it that fool of chocolate, bro, because that fool Carlos. I didn't get it, bro, till a year when I got home. I told my dad, and he died first.
That's so mean.
I asked my dad, ¿qué quiere decir esto, güey? I asked my dad, the host, like I told you,
Right.
And then my dad laughed like that, like you are laughing, but I didn't get it.
That's so mean.
He goes, and that's because I said, like, that's Carlos, bro. He's new, he's the first. I never met a black guy named Carlos. And then my friend was all racist, like, nah, his name is Charles. But then this fucking cholo, bro, hardcore racist cholo. Nah, homie, that's Carlos Quinto, homie. Like the chocolate bar.
That's so fucked up, bro. See what I mean, dude?
Yeah, and then you know what?
Mexicans are mean, bro.
And then that's because there's another comment, but man, that's the colonizer making you talk like that.
I know it is, dude.
Maybe it is. But so
I still love my people, bro, but you
it doesn't
can't say
change
that we're not mean to each
because
other.
right now we're gonna talk about Harlem in New York, and we're talking about the migration of Southern blacks into Harlem. And let me tell you, these jokes that we're saying are not new jokes. They've just been translated for the next minority or the next minority. Because when country, I'm trying to compare that. When country people moved into Harlem, the blacks that were already there thought they were better than them, huh?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
And it has jokes like, "Oh, take your country ass out of here."
What we'll find out is like the East, what they call the East Indies, which are now like Caribbean people, or considered Caribbean people. Like, I feel there was like a vast difference in Caribbeans and American blacks, and or at least this.
But I'm talking about the Southern blacks first that showed up to Harlem in the beginning.
Oh yeah, dude, for
How
sure.
they were being looked upon as dirty compared to the fucking...
The ones that were in there.
The blacks that were already in Harlem before the Great Migration, which is the Great Migration is when all the Southern blacks from the South started migrating to different parts of Northern California. They started moving into Northern America, and
they were going to New York.
They went to different places. Like it all depends on what state of the South they lived in. So a lot of people from Northern and South Carolina, obviously, they migrated north straight to New York.
Right.
That's why you get like Frank, what's his name? He's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And then you get people like from Memphis who took a different route and they made it all the way to Kansas. And they became Kansas blacks. Then you got another people like from Birmingham, Alabama, and they took a different route because their highway was closer to them was Chicago, which you get Chicago Blues, who really came from Birmingham, and they brought the barbecue in Chicago. So, but right now we're gonna talk about the main one, which is Harlem, which was migrated by Southern blacks from the South, directly from North Carolina and South Carolina and Virginia. And when they first showed up, the blacks were already there in New York. They were established themselves. A lot of them were business owners. They were in Harlem. They were already established with little shops, and they were really like they had like I won't say Wakanda, but it was a lot of black owned stuff. There.
Yeah,
and music, man, like jazz was like art. Everything it was like a thing called the Harlem Renaissance was another time. and there was a lot of music and all this and that. But not only that, besides music and jazz, there was before that there was a bunch of Jewish people who lived in East Harlem. They left, and then the fucking Italians were there to 1970. But Harlem was like, when you think about where all black people come from, Harlem, man. Like, to me, Harlem always represented African Americans. I never thought any other race lived there till I started looking into it, man.
Right. Same here. Like when you first introduced me to this book, it was interesting to find out that it was a majority Jewish community. That Harlem was actually a town named after a town in what did it say? Oh man.
It's named after a place in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. That's right.
The whole city.
And it was called New Harlem.
New Harlem. And what happened is that the New York was first settled by the Dutch. And that's why you get New York. It comes from the town, that town York in Amsterdam. And also, Manhattan is a word that comes from Amsterdam also.
That's the other thing I didn't know, bro. I did not
The
realize
Dutch
that at all.
Harlem was two ways. It's from the Dutch city Harlem.
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 Is that how they would say it?
Yeah, and then you know what's funny? I'm an idiot, bro. I always thought Manhattan was a tribe in New York, bro.
Manhattan is the native word.
Oh, really? Okay, never knew.
All right.
They named New York New Amsterdam when they got there.
Yeah, New York was called New Amsterdam. I forgot.
Whenever Lisa comes in, I'm like, oh man.
Well, this is just very wrong.
Love it. No, it's great. It's great. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Manhattan is a native word.
We don't know
That
shit.
Sorry. I didn't cut that out.
Okay. Here we go.
Don't believe anything we say. Don't believe anything.
Don't believe
we
anything
say.
on the internet.
Butch is always wrong, and I am agreeing with him. I mean, yeah. I'm like, yeah, wow, you read the book?
Well, hey, to be fair, the books we read for this did not have anything about Manhattan in it. So
Did you also look up on, did you also like this is what I do.
okay,
Like I find the subject and I send Butch the Audible books and he checks up on them. Then after I think I go through the books too fast,
Right.
or I go through them, and then the podcast is in the next week, so I'm already forgetting stuff.
Right.
So then I gotta go watch like 5 quick ass 12-minute Harlem videos on YouTube.
right, yeah, I had to do, yeah, I do that every time as
And
well.
one of them was good. I saw it like 10 times.
Right.
It was the one that was the one. I'm sorry, I forget your name. I know you're not gonna listen to this podcast, but she was a Muslim lady. She had her rap,
Okay.
and she was the one that was talking about that how the Harlem was Jewish, which when it was Jewish, there was a heroin gang back then called the Purple Gang, when they were Jewish,
Okay.
and the Purple Gang, they were involved with nothing but they were all Jewish. I don't know if they were all Jewish, but I know that in Cleveland, the original Purple Gang, it was all Jewish people. But here in New York, they were Italian. They were part of a street in
All Jewish mob.
New York, and they were part
And
of
Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah, but in New York, they were part of a street called Pleasant Avenue. Can you look up Pleasant Avenue Purple Gang in New York?
This Purple Gang?
In New York,
Pleasant
Harlem.
Avenue.
Pleasant Avenue, right?
Yeah. Purple Gang in East Harlem?
Yeah, East Harlem. That's them, bro. So they were like the first people to actually have I don't know, bro. How long has heroin been in Harlem?
So they, from what I read, was like around the 1920s, it started to come in, and then in the 30s it picked up big time to about and it was the main drug of choice all the way through the 70s and early 80s.
You know, it's funny, man. Like back then, when
1917, actually.
back then when politicians couldn't blame stuff on immigrants or Mexicans or anybody else, they really didn't want to blame stuff on black people, so they blame it on jazz musicians.
That's right.
These
Yeah.
jazz music, it was connected with heroin and marijuana
Yep.
and cocaine.
I was just gonna say that's how marijuana became illegal.
So they couldn't say, we gotta stop these African Americans from dealing drugs. We gotta stop these jazz players from coming into our city with their
Right.
fucking.
And they're corrupting our daughters. They're having sex with them. They're getting them high. They're giving them drugs.
But you know what? To be honest,
Our white women.
like blues players were having sex with your sister.
Fuck yeah, they were.
Because back then, blues player, when they were on the road, there was no hotels for blues players. There was no like he couldn't go to the African American Inn. You know, there was no hotel for them.
Right.
Unless you had the little green book, like in that movie
In
that showed you all the
And
black
you never
hotels.
saw that movie. Did you see that movie?
Yeah. But the whole movie was called The Green Book because this famous black pianist, he needed to go perform in the South, and he needed a driver, and he needed a fucking bodyguard. So this fool, bro, hired this fucking debt collector in real life. You know, but as a matter of fact, the guy who wrote the book, I met him. He's a big fan of Felipe Esparza, his son. So the Green Book movie is based on his pianist who hires an Italian guy, mobster or a goon, to drive him around the South because he's black and he can't drive in the South. You know, he can't be in the front seat together. He has to sit in the back.
Right.
And so the Green Book is it's like you know how you have a little hotel digest that gives you all the hotels in the city.
Yeah, or like
This
a
one
Michelin.
had all the hotels for black people and all the restaurants that are allowed in.
So it was like a Michelin guide for black people.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Interesting.
like Michelin tires, bro.
Right. Well, Michelin had a
Like
guide.
Michelin llantas, but they were.
That's what my roommate said the Mexican guys at work call them.
Yes, but isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, it's fucked up, bro. So the Michelin rating system that we have for restaurants
Yeah.
comes from a guide that Michelin still puts out to this day of the best restaurants to go to and places to eat and how comfortable they are, and they have a rating.
I'd like to talk to a guy that was involved with segregation, bro. 'Cause I want to know if, like, I know this, if it was black only, did that also mean white people can't go in there?
I mean, I think it's like, why would they want to go in there at that time?
You're right, bro.
You know what I mean?
Why would I?
Right, like that's.
Anyway, there it is, the Green Book.
But
The Negro Motorist Green Book.
But did you know we're gonna
First page, come out with your ID and your hands up.
because we're. I mean, I don't know. We'll if you. There's a guy in my notes that hung out with black people.
Who?
Frank Mesro. And
Look him up. Frank
yeah, look
Mesro.
up. Shoot, I have him right here. Mesro. Mezz.
So anyway,
Mezzrow.
so bro, before you start, to tell you, bro, I saw this black man. It's an old video about after segregation, and they were allowed into restaurants, and they're talking to the black man like he just had his first meal
Right.
in a white establishment.
Yeah.
They're talking to him. He's chubby man. He goes, "So how was it, man? That was the worst food I ever had in my life.
Really.
I mean, totally worst food I ever had in my life. I mean, this is what we fought for." Should go in here, we'll eat this tasteless
Truth.
ass food.
Truth.
But I understand what the big picture is
Right.
to be allowed in anywhere you establishment.
Right.
And that's what we wanted, and we accomplished it, man. But this fucking fool's horrible.
Yeah, that's so
I think
funny.
that's maybe
dude.
now when I'm watching that video, I'm thinking maybe that's what they want white people. They want them in there, bro.
Yeah,
They
bro.
don't want people to go, man. This shit needs salt.
Maybe they didn't want them to find out how bad their food is. So that's
So it's Mesro, bro.
so this is Frank Mesro. Milton, sorry.
He's a jazz player.
He's a jazz clarinetist, but he's mostly known for being a big fan of weed, selling weed to people, and
Can I
black.
ask you a question, bro?
Yeah.
I saw that a movie called Charlie.
Uh-huh.
It was based on Charlie Parker. He was a heroin addict.
Okay.
And they showed a white guy he used to buy drugs from. I wonder if that was him. And he worked with a guy that got totally worked. He got totally hooked on heroin where he couldn't work no more. Is that the guy?
No, I think this guy's not that, because this guy was more of a, and in fact, you read somewhere that his weed was so good it helped heroin addicts kick getting high.
Get the fuck
And
out
like,
of here. Where did we come from?
So there's like two different jazz musicians, Louis Armstrong, and I can't remember the other one that they said wrote a song about him. One's the Muggles, and the other one is the Mesrals. And they talk about Mesrals, and he would roll fat joints, sell them. He had the best weed, and people would just be like,
See, man, that's what I'm talking about, bro. You're talking about a guy, Mesro, with good ass weed, bro.
right, yeah.
That's how I feel, bro.
He used to say, I'm the unofficial Negro that hangs out in Harlem.
That's how I feel, bro. He's a Jew, bro.
Yes.
A he bro. He's a he bro.
He's a heat, bro.
That's what I don't. That was a big fight, bro. We should legalize marijuana in California. We should legalize marijuana all over the country. But what's at stake right here, you know? Because now marijuana is legal, and you can walk into a place and buy marijuana, and then when you buy the marijuana, it's like the worst weed you ever had in your life.
Yeah, bro.
It's like, this what we fought for?
This is what we fought
This
for.
is why I got beat up. This is why.
Yeah.
This is what we fought for, to take away the good weed that was being sold by Mesero, and now we got legalized weed that's controlled. Like, you can't get it. It can't be at a certain fucking percentage.
It's garbage.
Expensive.
It fucking like you're paying for
Is
the
this what
marketing.
we fought for?
Yeah, no, fuck all that, bro.
You've been to shops that have the worst weed,
All
and
of
the
them.
biggest sign ever.
I've yet, because I still shop in the black market. I've yet to find weed in a shop that beats what I get at the black market for way fucking cheaper.
There used to be this weed, bro, in this place in marijuana.
Gray market.
This place in Hollywood called Kushmart.
Kushmart.
And they were insane, bro.
Really?
The first time I went there, the guy hooked me up because he was a fan, and my friend Joe Diaz. Second time, he gave me a fat quarter. Third time, I tried to look for, he wasn't there no more, and I asked for the weed he was giving me of Matt OG, $65 an eighth.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I paid for what it was, but that shit was good, dog.
Was it really?
But not for $65.
Not for $65, bro.
Now 40 at least.
Yeah, dude.
But it was delicious.
God damn, bro.
But not for 65.
No, I don't, bro. There's only a couple weed types that I'll pay really good money for, because it's like, again, man, I've had weed that, like, shout out to Butch McLeod, gave me weed one time. I think it was called like Oreo cookies, and it was like, fuck, bro, like blew my mind. Never even heard of this shit, and it was free.
His
Literally-
weed needs more double stuff inside of it. If it's gonna be Oreo.
But yeah, I
just
barely go to
kidding.
shops. If you have a shop, by the way, and you think you got the weed, let me know, man. I'll go try your weed out. I don't know, ask you to give it to me either. I just want to see where there's good weed at.
Me, when I go to a marijuana shop and when I go to a
I want free
dispensary
weed.
when I'm out of town, I wait to a guy that goes in there, bro, in a little ass cruiser. What are they called? The little cruisers?
Little wheelchair, the electric
The
wheelchair.
one that you drive, a scooter.
Oh, like a golf cart.
Yeah, I wait for an old man to go in there with a golf cart, or a guy to go in there coughing like you. Too much Oreos. All right, we believe you, bro. Butch McLeod. Sold, Butch McLeod. Stop pressing the cough button, Melissa.
I'm okay. That weed that I had earlier just hit me now. You ever have the driest throat in the world?
Bro, that
get
right
rid of
there,
it?
that's happening to you right now, happened to me in an Uber ride.
Oh, it's
Where
worse.
I coughed for 5 minutes straight, And I could tell that guy he was rubbing the back of his head. You know, he thought I was coughing at him, but dude, I couldn't. I had a cough attack, and I couldn't catch my breath, and I thought I was gonna die in the back seat. Dude. I felt like my rabbit when he was dying. I was in the same freeway when he died.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
So he gave me some water, and then the water came out through my nose. But I ended up feeling better.
You spit it on him? Oh. I can't get rid of it, bro.
Go walk around and come back.
I can't, no, bro. We got a podcast we're doing right now.
You gotta close your mouth and breathe through your nose and walk around. Do some sit-ups.
Yeah, let me get more water. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I ran out of water.
Microphone, you're hanging it.
Yep, I got it. I'm smacking it again. Okay, come on, microphone.
Actually, man, you can keep recording. Actually, what happened to Butch is that weed that he was talking about is horrible, man. Like, he was probably choking on a stem that was a tree trunk that was in there.
Oh my God,
That weed is brown as fuck. I thought it was
what
tobacco.
are you talking about?
About Butch's awesome weed, Butch McCloud.
Oh, Butch McCloud's weed. And then we went into something else.
And we talked about how the weed at shops is not that good.
Yeah.
And then we talked.
Dude, that's like the weed god striking
And then we
me
go
down.
back. We're gonna go back to the clarinet player
Okay.
about Mesure, how he started dealing in.
That cough break was brought
So-
to you by... Stop, Butch. Get a grip on yourself.
So that guy, he supplied heroin to everybody there under who?
Weed. He never gave up his connect. That was the thing, is he never mentioned who connected him with weed. And historically, people have tried to find out, but he never gave up his connect. But he's part of this series in this book because he's kind of the first guy to, like, you know, before it was a numbers racket. That's all the rackets that were running in Harlem. And this guy was kind of the first drug dealer in Harlem, like... And then the other thing that we were reading in there is the how marijuana was legal back then, and they used to have tea parties. Do you remember any of that?
No.
This is all on video.
They had tea parties? Or
Yeah, they
what?
would have tea parties, and so weed was legal, and then you would go to tea houses, like these little places where you could buy weed. You'd chill, like a little lounge, low lighting, jazz music playing, and you would light up and smoke up and hang out with people, kind of like we have smoking speakeasies here in LA, and we have some in the Bay Area now, but those would be called tea houses. And then they would have tea parties, and the tea parties would be like, okay, I'm going to buy an ounce of weed, and everybody's going to come over and buy a joint off me, and then we're all going to smoke weed together and have a party, and then that would help people able to pay rent.
And everybody would be coughing at the tea party.
Everybody would be coffee at the tea party. But that was the thing, though, and what I felt was that, like, it was two rackets going in Harlem that were keeping people alive, and that was the dope racket, which was heroin.
You know, in that movie, Hoodlum, with the one with
Lawrence Fishburne?
yeah, that was Bumpy. He was playing Bumpy Johnson, huh?
Right, yeah, he was playing Bumpy Johnson.
Yeah, Bumpy Johnson. But who like Bumpy Johnson? Yeah, Bumpy Johnson. That's a bad show if you want it. I don't know how close that is to the real thing. I don't think it is at all real.
No.
In that show, they show Bumpy Johnson hanging around with a young Malcolm X, bro.
That didn't happen, really?
In the movie,
That did not happen.
I know, bro. But
That's like almost offensive, dude. This is why Hollywood gets a lot of shit, dude. Because that's like borderline offensive. But yeah, no, it didn't.
And in that movie,
Right.
they show him going. They show Bumpy Johnson fighting with that gangster. What's his name? Gigante. Vincent Gigante.
Who's Vincent Gigante?
He's part of the Colombo family.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
the Godfather. He ends up being a Godfather later, but he's just a captain back then. Like he
Okay.
dealt heroin, and but that guy was a mobster like in from Harlem also.
Right. Well, I think the trajectory was you had like Jewish gangs, then you had Italian gangs, which turned into mobs. Like the
That's-
beginning of Cosa Nostra, like all the families that you read about, like the Genoveses, and
that
they all
think
started in Harlem. This all started around in Harlem.
that's why you get that old you get the one of the last remaining gangsters that's Jewish in Harlem during Bumpy Johnson because which was Schultz.
Dutch Schultz.
Dutch Schultz was
Yeah.
Jewish. He was probably one of the last remaining from the survive.
Well, he kind of bridged because like there was a lot like at that time they didn't want to. Nobody wanted to deal with black
He was
people.
taking over the numbers, bro.
Harlem
from-
had a hard time
from that woman,
from
Madam
yeah, what was her name? Queenie St. Clair.
Queen St. Clair was a woman that was an original gangster in Harlem, and she used to run the numbers, and that she was the real deal back
She
then.
ran the numbers and she was pretty tough. Dutch Schultz at one time tried to kill her and he couldn't.
He couldn't do it.
And Judge Schultz is like one of the fucking hardest gangsters like in Harlem.
And he was
time.
just taking people's like there were people that were like doing the numbers. He would just go in there and take it from them, and he was doing a lot of he took over the number rackets in Harlem, except Bumpy Johnson's and other ones.
Well, what he would do is he would he wouldn't pay people back if he didn't have. No, what would happen is that the local rings. What was happening is he was taking advantage of the corruption in local rings, which were black-run rings. And sometimes, if someone won really big, the ring wouldn't pay because the award was too big. So they would just, and there was nothing anybody could do. And in a way, Dutch Schultz was doing a good thing, but he also was doing a bad thing by taking over gangs in Harlem. But he was going over to them, and he was saying, "I'm taking your business, and now here's the deal: you have to pay the fucking award." And if you don't pay the award, I kill you.
Yeah.
And so
Because they were not paying
because they weren't paying. So in a way, he improved the numbers game, and then he remastered it, and then
Yeah.
it got retaken over eventually by Black, and
some of these numbers guys, they were cheating. Like they would know the number ahead of time,
Right.
And then like they'll bet themselves.
right. Yeah, it wasn't until Casper Holstein came along and kind of mastered the numbers
Who's
game.
Captain Holstein?
Casper Holstein was
Black dude?
Yeah, he was a black dude from the West Indies, and he had moved to Harlem. Very meager earnings. He worked for this white family, and they really loved him, so they kind of raised him as their own. But he was still kind of their servant. And this guy, bro, was one of the richest mobsters ever, but was not at all violent.
They showed him, bro,
He wasn't
on Boardwalk Empire,
okay.
and but he was calm, huh? They control a lot of performers too, like
Yes.
people that performed.
Yes, he was at the time that he ruled, bro.
And he fought with a mob, huh?
Right, but he never lifted a finger. He wasn't a tough guy. He had people do work for him, but he was also very benevolent. I mean, there's parts of the Caribbean that are named after him because he's kind of prolific back there. He's kind of like a hero head to them.
And he spoke like he was smart, huh?
Very smart, bro.
Yeah.
Very smart. That was one of the things that I read was that he impressed these white people because she sent him away to go take a package, and the address on the package was wrong, and he figured out the address by figuring out the numbers, and then he got it right. And when he got back, the lady was like, "Sorry, I gave you the wrong address." He's like, "No, but I figured it out." And he was really smart like that. He was very intuitive, and he was able to really win people over. And he ran the numbers game really fair because he ran it off of the daily stock numbers. So and that was the thing was they couldn't it came out.
I
in the
still don't
paper every
understand
day.
how that works, bro, with the daily stock number. Like, how many numbers
I
are
have
there?
no fucking clue, bro. That was the thing is like I didn't have time to check out how numbers game worked, but it's kind of a lot. I know that on our end it's a lottery system, just like the lottery at the store, the California lottery. But the winnings are much greater back then because you would put in a nickel, and if everybody put in a nickel, and they said that at sometimes the pot got up to like 960,000. And there were so many winners, bro. So that meant like your numbers were your chances of winning were great. The odds were really good, and a lot of times people really made a lot of money playing the numbers game. And everybody played the numbers game. I remember Joey Diaz talking about his mom and always playing the numbers game, and how it was a thing you just did every day. It wasn't even a like matter of like, do you gamble or do you don't gamble? Everybody had a nickel to put into the numbers game. And so it became this.
With a nickel, how much you win? At least 20 grand?
It was odds were one nickel, 1 to 60. So 1 out of 60.
So you win $3.
Right. So if you put in a nickel, you won $3. But back then, that was like fucking 30, $40, dude.
I could pay for my groceries.
Right. But sometimes people would put $10, $15 back then. And that's a lot of fucking, that's like $600 on $10. And so, like $600, dude, that's like your whole year's worth of rent, probably back then.
And when Schultz came in, he was paying off cops and paying off politicians, and
Right.
and that's something that a lot of black gangsters couldn't do because they didn't know anybody in the city they could bribe.
Well, they couldn't get big enough. But the other thing
That didn't happen until the '90s with the lynch mob.
Right. Well, bro, that's where we're hopefully gonna get to, but like the thing is that the white mob was too busy trying to figure out their own exploits. Meanwhile, these small black neighborhoods, these small neighborhoods in Harlem, were turning up money that they couldn't even imagine by playing the numbers game. And then you enter Judge Schultz, who's like, one, I could make a ton of money. Two, I could revolutionize the system. And it wasn't like, don't get me wrong, Judge Schultz didn't do it for black people. It wasn't like he was like, here, I made it better. Here, black people. Like, they had to wrestle it back out of his fucking fingers. But yeah, he did make it a very viable game again.
Yeah, and it wasn't until he wanted to kill a prosecutor or some type of lawyer,
Yeah, he
or
wanted,
politician,
yes.
and he wanted to do it without the permission of the other godfathers and
Of
shit.
the, oh man, what was the name of that?
The syndicate.
Yeah, it was like a syndicate, or it was like the,
La Cosa Nostra.
yeah, it's an alliance, and it's the first alliance, and it actually came after a bunch of mobsters ended up killing each other for no reason.
Yeah.
And so now to make a move on either another made man or like a politician or a cop, you got to get
the five families.
you had to get the permission of the 5 families.
So he didn't want to, so Lucky Luciano put a hit on him, and one of his own men set him up and killed him.
Yeah, and that was it.
And then Bumpy Johnson took over,
That's-
and then
yes.
he was paying off Lucky Luciano forever.
So now you have the transition of how white gangs lose power in Harlem. And again, man, what you have also running next to it is the smack business, heroin, and that's mostly owned by Italians. And Italians, it's like in the movies, we want to give these guys drugs to kill themselves with, but we don't want it in our neighborhoods. And that's what was going on. And so, and alongside of that, because now we're getting close to the 50s and the 60s in this conversation, and we're talking about civil rights movement. And what's happening alongside the civil rights movement, black criminals, black organizations are going, hey bro, we fuck these white motherfuckers giving us drugs to sell in our own neighborhoods. We need to be doing this.
We need to be doing this.
We need to be taking over this. So now you have black gangs that are fighting white mobs. And that was the thing to me, bro, is like TV, movies, media would have you believe that Italian mobs were impenetrable forces that nobody fucked with. But what we find out is that these black gangs are like, there's one guy, I'm going to tell you his name right now. Actually, it was Bumpy Johnson. That was like, if you sell one more gram of heroin on our fucking block, I will go over to your fucking Italian neighborhood and kill every fucking Italian motherfucker in that fucking neighborhood. And then after that, they were like, okay, we're not fucking with these guys anymore. And they allowed Bumpy Johnson to run his own organization.
He told him, man, you want to fuck with uptown? I'll show up in downtown.
Right, yeah, that's what he said. And mind you, they're still buying drugs off the Italians, but before this, the Italians were selling the drugs on the street. And now they're taking it completely out of the Italians' hands, and they're buying it wholesale from them. So like, there's a bit of change in power there, and you have someone like Bumpy Johnson taking over Black Bohemia, which is Harlem. I'm trying to get to.
There was so much money in the numbers, right? That black people couldn't let that shit go, huh? Like a lot of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Lots of money, man. And again, no. I mean, like I said, at one point they calculated, and this is in the 30s, I think, that one block had accumulated close to $900,000.
And there was another
over the year in revenue.
Some people had jobs, and they were spending, and then they were like, not some of them were prospering, but some of them were getting hooked on heroin now.
Yeah, that was the thing, man. Is that I have that too recorded. I have some numbers here, man, that are like pretty nuts. Where's my percentages? Because I have numbers for the amount of people that were addicted to drugs. My plans were took it on the control of the coconut, 1990 Bubby. Gunfight. Okay. 12. Okay. By 1940, only 12% of African Americans finished high school, and only 2% of them made up of the professional sector. 40% of Harlem was on some sort of financial support from the governor or completely jobless. 90% of black people in America at that time, 90% were addicted to drugs.
90%?
Sorry. Yeah, that was a lot. 70%.
Don't believe nothing we say.
Don't believe anything we say. But this is according to this book. So the book that we read for this is called Gangs of Harlem. So that's the reference that I have.
In that movie with Denzel Washington, they make it seem like he was the biggest heroin dealer in the whole East Coast, and what's his name? The other guy was smarter than him. What's his name? The one that was played by Cuba Gooding Jr. Nicky Barnes.
Nicky Barnes. Yeah, Nicky Barnes. Well, and that's the thing, man. Is like you got Bumpy Johnson, Nicky Barnes, and you're talking about Frank Lucas.
Frank Lucas.
And
was Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas the same, or who was higher?
Well, each stole each other's business. So you have Bumpy Johnson, who brought in Nicky Barnes and raised Nicky Barnes to be his guy.
Bumpy Johnson raised Nicky Barnes?
Kind of. Like they were like he was like
who was bigger? Who sold the most heroin? Frank Lucas or Bumpy Johnson? Frank
Lucas ended up probably selling the most heroin.
More Nicky Barnes too, huh?
Yeah, but that's not a fair analysis though, because it was just it just had a matter of access. Like Nicky Barnes and Bumpy Johnson were using La Cosa Nostra to get their heroin from, and
which was being sent, which was coming from France at that one time, from the French Connection, till they closed it down.
Right.
And then the cops stole the heroin and started selling it.
Right.
That's real, right?
Yeah, that's a real story.
Yeah.
But Frank Lucas is getting his heroin from the Asian connection from Vietnam, and he has a guy.
Laos.
Yeah, he's getting it from Laos, and he's got a
The
guy.
jungle.
He's got a guy that is like he also runs this gang in the army.
When I read about the real Frank Lucas, he had a cousin that actually was, or he knew somebody.
Yes.
that had a bar, but they were already selling heroin already over there.
Right. Well,
Two army soldiers, right?
right. What they're doing is they're selling to the soldiers over there.
Over there.
And they're also stealing top supply, which is like beer. They're stealing food. They're stealing guns. But one of their gamuts was when they were smuggling heroin, was they ran a poker game, and the soldiers would come in, and the poker game was rigged, and they would lose a ton of money in the game, and then this guy would go, "Hey, listen, I know how you could settle up. You heading out back home. I know you could settle up with us. Do us a favor, take a couple of bricks of heroin with you. Here's some extra money, and your debt's cleared." And that's a lot of times how they first started smuggling heroin. And that was Frank Lucas's sister's husband that was doing all of that. And then so when they connected, because the other thing, man, is like,
they try to lie that they were sending them in dead bodies, bro.
yeah, that was the thing is like, so here's the thing is the dead bodies, both the connection and Frank Lucas denied it happening. And then, so but Frank Lucas said, no, but we were still putting them in coffins. And then the connect for Frank Lucas, this guy goes, that's how I knew he was ratting on me, because we weren't putting him in coffins. One day he showed up out of nowhere, and we were building teak furniture, and that's what we hid the fucking heroin in. But Frank Lucas showed up out of nowhere, and I got nervous. I didn't know what to tell him, because he was like, "What are you guys doing?" And he's like, "We're building coffins." And so in his mind, he thought that we were shipping him in coffins.
Cause there was a guy that was like the middleman that was high. He was like a gangster too, right? In between, because there was a guy that owned the bar that made the connection, but there was also a main dude, and that's the guy you're talking about that was paying everybody else to bring shit.
Right.
And that's the guy in the movie that Frank Lucas says, make sure you pay him good.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember that guy's name, and they really don't talk about him much in the book. I think that's gonna be.
I read that Frank Lucas in the book, his book, because I read the article that he used to dress up in a costume like a homeless man to watch over the people, the street dealers, bro.
Yes. Yeah, bro.
Like he'd be like hiding and keep an eye on everything. He didn't trust anybody, so he brought in all his cousins from South Carolina or North Carolina to do all the drug dealing with their New York.
So his connection was a guy named Ike Atkinson. And that was the thing. Here's the thing, dude, that I read about this guy. Frank Lucas,
Atkinson is from Vietnam, right?
Atkinson is his Vietnam connect, and who's married to his sister. But here's the thing that I watched that movie, and they make, it's played by Denzel Washington. So it makes Frank Lucas seem
look good,
like this really put together, talented guy. And when you read interviews by Bumpy Johnson and fucking or not Bumpy Johnson, I'm sorry, what's the other guy? Nicky Barnes. And a couple other guys. Frank Matthews is another guy that worked with you. And Pee Wee Kirkland is another guy that worked with Frank Lucas. And all of them said,
who's the governor, bro? Isn't there a governor they call, or the president, or the mayor?
That's going to be...
He had a big title name.
Frank Matthews.
Frank Matthews.
So all of them are like, dude, when I'm reading this book, they said that fucking Frank Lucas was the most dumbest motherfucker they'd ever known in their life. Like, he was so stupid, and they really didn't know how he made it so far.
He was just a driver, right?
He was just a driver who got lucky, and like he killed. What it was?
He really shoot that guy in the corner.
So there was this guy whose nickname was, dude, it's a fucking weird nickname, dude, like Machete or some shit like that. I just wrote it down.
He's the one that was being played by Idris Elba in the movie.
Tango. His name is
Tango.
Tango.
His name is Tango in the movie too.
Yeah.
Idris Elba played him.
Yeah. So Tango.
He getting work.
Tango's this murderer who's like crazy, and he goes around. Like if you fuck with Tango, he fucking murders you, and he's known for murdering you. And in fact, what he liked to do was he would borrow money from from loan sharks and not pay them back because if they came after him, he would kill them. And so he was like the most fearsome motherfucker on the planet. And Frank Lucas like seeked him out, pretended to be his friend, got him to borrow money from him, knowing that he would not pay him back. And then when he didn't pay him back, he went and shot him in front of everybody. And they make it seem like he shot him in the head. It was more like bam, 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 like shot him all over the stomach and chest and shit, dude. It was kind of sloppy murder. And that's how he came to fame. Because he simply murdered someone that was tougher than him in front of everybody. And again, bro, it wasn't like he did it, dude. He didn't mean to leave fucking witnesses. Movies fucking suck sometimes because they make you think like, man, that dude's hardcore. I want to be like Frank Lucas. Like, he's just a driver, bro.
I want to be like Under the Giant, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That fool had 7 career-ending injuries and never gave up.
Look at you, bro. You're like the Andre the Giant of comedy.
That's what you gotta obey, bro.
Yeah.
History for Fools. Check out all my shows at felipeworld.com/tour. That's where all my shows are at. If you want to say hello, there we go right there, man. July 27. You probably missed that show. But right now, if you're listening to me, I am in Australia. August 3rd, August 7th, I'll be in Australia at the Comedy Store. But look, man, August 23rd,
coming back.
The big tour, my At My Leisure tour starts officially. August 23rd, I'll be in Wichita, Kansas. What you talking about, Wichita? Something tell me you're not in Kansas no more. I'll be at the Temple Live, Wichita Scotty Wright Center. August 24th, I'll be in Dodge City, Kansas.
Yo!
United Wireless Arena and Boot Hill Casino and Resort Conference Center. Tickets right there. September 5th and 6th, I'll be in Vancouver and Calgary, baby.
Let's go, bro. Holy shit, dude.
September 7th, I'll be in Calgary also at the Lifestyle at the Comedy Club. Yeah, and then
Nice.
Vegas, September 13th. If you want to get the meet and greet, click right there. Also, there it is.
Oh, 2 shows in Vegas this time. Nice.
I'm coming to Reading, Pennsylvania.
I love reading.
And Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's right.
Man, nice.
Yeah, man. So these gangsters were the gangsters from the 60s. And then I don't know, in the 80s was even crazier, man.
Yeah, dude. The Lynch
With
Mob,
the Chamber
man.
Brothers.
The Chambers brothers. Those guys were
They're from Detroit, man.
Those were in Detroit. That's who New Jack City was named after. But you had a very similar crew in.
How about the Preacher crew?
That is going to be.
Is that the Lynch Mob or the Preacher crew? Who's the one that kidnapped? What's his name? Bobby
kidnapped
Brown.
Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
That's the Lynch Mob that kidnapped. I think that was a Lynch Mob. Let me go back. I sent you that article. So
they
let me
give
go.
that guy life in prison, man. Preacher something. What's his name? Anyways, the story goes that I read was that Bobby Brown, he owed money to a crack dealer for a bunch of crack that he got on consignment and hadn't paid. And then one of the guys from the Lynch Mob, he bought the debt, and then they kidnapped Bobby Brown.
Right. Yeah, they kidnapped Bobby Brown and they held him hostage till Whitney Houston
showed up
with
Did that
money.
really happen though?
Yeah, it did, and I'm trying to find it because I sent you the fucking article. Bobby Brown got kidnapped.
Clarence Preacher
Crew.
Healy.
Yeah, Preacher Heatley. The Preacher Crew. Brown was kidnapped by New York street gang, the Preacher Crew, for over $25,000 drug debt in 1993. Bro, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
to me.
but what happens? You don't understand. If you don't know how this works, is in the streets, if you buy a debt, you can raise it like a bill collector.
Yeah.
So he rose it to $357,000.
$400,000.
$400,000. They paid?
Yeah, Whitney Houston had to come and bring it. God, I really want to read the story. I didn't get a chance to read the story over this because, in April of 1995, Brown and 2 friends were charged in the beating. Oh, no, never mind. That's a different thing. Man, dude, Bobby Brown fucked up a lot, dude. Holy shit. But yeah, he owed him money for drugs, and so this guy was like, fuck that, I'm going to kidnap you. The other thing about Preacher Heatley that was scary, and this is why Whitney Houston paid the debt, is because he had what was called a death chamber. Like if you owed him money or he had to kill you or you're gonna rat him out, he brought you into this little. He beat the fuck out of you in public, kidnapped you, and this motherfucker was notorious for kidnapping people. Like he kidnapped gang members, he kidnapped drug dealers, he kidnapped loan sharks. He didn't give a fuck, bro, and he got his money every time because if you didn't pay up, he would go take you to his little death dungeon.
So he was taxing drug dealers, or was he a drug dealer?
No, he wasn't even taxing drug dealers. He was a drug dealer himself, and he did invent that whole style of like, you know, when you're watching New Jack City and they're like bagging the drugs and they have titties and
Yeah.
and that was his idea. Like that was his whole. He was the guy who invented that whole system. That New Jack City system.
So he actually right there where they had that play where they torture people. He really took over a building, huh?
Yeah, he really took over a building. So New Jack City was based off of what crew again? What was that called again?
The lynch mob,
No.
the Chamber Brothers
Chamber Brothers
in Detroit.
But the system, because I looked this up on the way over here, the system that they used was what Preacher Heatley had developed himself, and I didn't get a chance.
And putting crack in the little tubes, right?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to.
Because I know that he was the first guy. Because everybody was trying to sell 20 rocks, and this fool was selling $5.
Right.
$5.
Yeah,
crack,
$1,
bro.
$2 crack.
They
vials.
sold every amount.
Every amount. Yeah, whatever you wanted, you could come and get. high
Imagine,
off
bro,
this.
having someone's out there buying $2. And that goes back to that story that Richard Pryor had about that boxer Leon Spinks. When he walks into, he said, "You gotta look how much crack Leon Spinks was trying to buy."
Oh my God,
Look
bro!
it up on the news. Let me know. Put it up there. And Richard Pryor made a whole bit about this. You see it? $0.50, right? So anyway, Richard Pryor Leon Spinks gets arrested for buying how much crack? Look it up.
Leon Spinks was arrested for buying how much crack?
$1.50, bro.
Get the fuck out of here! He was trying to buy $1.50 worth of crack.
I know. Now I think about Wheat Heatley, bro.
That's
So
crazy.
Richard Pryor had a bit about yeah, man. People always trying to ask me, man, how do you feel about Leon Spinks getting arrested for buying $50 worth of crack? And I just gotta say to the reporter or anybody who asks me, man, I love that guy. Because if I say anything bad, what the fuck they're gonna say about me later on?
Right? Yeah, dude.
So, man, but seriously, man, you know that was that. I just imagine how that went down, and then Richard Pryor goes, "Hey, man, you awake, man?" "Yeah, man. Who's this?" "Leon." "How much you need?" $1.50. Baby. Remember I told you, if this motherfucker ever shows up for $1.50 to make that call. Man, that drug dealer called the cops on him. I died, bro.
Bro, that's fucking hilarious.
He used to
dude.
live by a crack house, bro. $1.50, bro.
Bro, how you gonna bother someone for $1.50 worth of crack?
But this is how he ends the joke, bro. Man, he got that $1.50. Come on, man. You know I'm good for it.
Bro, that's so fucking funny, dude.
That's real, right?
Bro.
Richard Pryor big. He wants $100. He wants $1.50, but he still don't got the money for it. But I'm good for it.
Dude, that's so fucking funny, bro. Yeah, like I'll owe it to you later. Like from me, $1.50 worth of crack.
It's sad that Harlem has like there's so many like rich history, you know, and
Right.
it's always been black to this day. African American is being gentrified, but there's so many like drug dealers rose or made shitload of tons of money
Rose of
in
power,
this little
man.
area of the city.
Very small area. Very, very small area of the city. Supplied a lot of men with a lot of money. And when I was reading this book, again, if you guys want to check it out, it's called Gangs of Harlem. And it's mind-blowing, man, how such a small population, one, could bring so many people to power, but also supply so much money.
Wasn't there a guy also named Doc something?
Doc. I don't think I have a doc anything on there.
Just preacher, huh?
Just preacher. And then there was the lynch mob, but I don't think... the lynch mob came after, and then there wasn't a lot of information on that.
The book ends with the lynch mob.
It ends with the lynch mob, but kind of the lynch mob still being like, I mean, fucking look it up now, bro.
How about that one guy that said, man, we're going to start taxing all these local businesses in the area?
Which guy was that one?
Nicky Barnes.
Was that Nicky Barnes? So I got Queenie St. Clair, Dutch
Nicky
Schultz,
Barnes
Bubby
made
Johnson, Frank Matthews.
Nicky Barnes made it on the cover of Times Magazine.
You're talking about Pee Wee Kirkland.
Pee Wee Kirkland.
Dude, did you read about Pee Wee Kirkland being that basketball player? So there's another interesting guy, is Pee Wee Kirkland. So this dude actually ended up turning his life around and becoming a big pillar of the community. But he was one of the largest distributors. Like, his distribution went from...
There he is.
Yeah. This guy's distribution went from Canada to Florida and as far west as Arizona. And he was considered to be one of the best basketball players ever. Like, he went up against guys in college like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, other guys, and he was better than them in college. And he was like a real big hopeful. And he tried out for the New York Knicks and another like a basketball team that's no longer in existence out of Arizona. And he realized, I'm not going to make any money as a basketball player. I won't make as much as I do being a drug dealer. And then he became a drug dealer. He got caught, went into the system, came out, and like he's a pillar of the community now.
I did a show one time for heroin addicts, bro, and they were clapping like this. You ever did heroin?
Never. I smoked opium once.
I smoked it in my first time in Amsterdam. I had no choice. I wanted to get the whole feeling.
Really?
Yeah, and one time in downtown LA, you ever get so drunk that by that point you'll do any drug if you have the money?
Yeah, totally.
You've been up for
Fuck yeah, bro.
for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I was in downtown by the Greyhound
I've done that actually, yeah.
I was by the Greyhound station already. I didn't know how I got there.
Right.
And this guy goes, he's gonna go on a run, and somehow he came back with everything. But I just ran into a drug dealer, and he was cool. He goes, "What you want?" He goes, "What you got?" "I got everything, bro." "All right, give me $40. Give me $60 worth of crack. And what else you got?" He goes, "I got heroin and I got pills." And they gave me $30 of heroin, and he gave me the heroin.
Really?
And I smoked everything, bro. I shit myself.
How did the heroin? Do you remember?
I was too drunk, bro. All I felt
you
was
didn't even get to enjoy it.
I just felt the crack.
Did you take it at the same time?
I was dancing like this, bro.
Did you take it at the same time?
For real, bro. Missy, I started playing Get Your Freak On. That's the only time I moved from the couch. I was chilling like this, bro. Missy Ellie. But I always wonder why people like who use heroin, man, like who wants to be this high?
Right. That's the same thing with like, yeah.
3 plates does.
I guess in my mind, I'm like, yeah, shit must be so good. You know, you forget to wipe your own ass after you shit. Like, you just shit yourself. So it's got to be great.
But are you talking about heroin or that
heroin
or that acid Indian state that makes you poop? TMT or DDT?
Oh, you're talking about ayahuasca?
You done that?
No. I don't know if I'm really down to do all that, bro. I don't know. Dude, when I see white people doing shit too much, I'm like, all right, I don't know if that's good for you.
That's what I mean, man. I avoided anything that white people create, like Lollapalooza and fucking Coachella and Burning Man, bro.
Right. Yeah, same. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Oh, that shit looks cool. No, it does not to me. Like, bro, I don't understand. I'm sorry, dude. I've done I feel like I'm a pretty smart person.
Like Coachella, bro. Like we're in the desert, and they'll add a tent and put in couches, and then charge somebody $500 to kick it there.
All the heroin you could fucking.
But no heroin, just to kick it there in Coachella.
Oh, okay, yeah. No.
Bro, I'd rather get some fucking Mountain Mike pizza, bro.
Right.
With a hooker from Dublin. And
How
have a
much are
good
you
time.
paying?
Huh?
How much are you paying?
For what?
For that experience.
No, I'm not paying.
Right, but how much?
But in Coachella, it's like $500.
Bro,
They put a tarp, a nice little tarp, with a bed, with a couch, and bottled water and AC, bro.
No.
There's some that are more expensive.
No, bro. People are morons. Get a fucking PS5,
$5,000 to stay a night in a plush little place next to Coachella.
I'm good, bro.
Where you
I'm
can
good.
wake up in the
People
morning
pay too much money
and
for
see
experiences
people
these days,
camping out.
dude. Y'all out there paying too much money for experiences, dude. Like, get a VR headset or something. I don't know, dude. I play fucking video games in my air-conditioned shithole room in South Central.
me?
I'm very happy. Very fucking happy.
I don't buy gold chains. I buy European trips.
Yeah, well, that's different, you know.
Yeah.
I would pay money for that. I would pay money for that experience.
Yeah, man.
But I'm not going to go to a fucking concert for no music should cost more than $50 for the day.
So what you learned about Harlem that you didn't know about it? That it came from Amsterdam, the word?
No, I learned that it wasn't always a black enclave, and I also learned that the reason why it filled up so quickly was because when they ran the train line out there, they expected it to have a real estate boom. So all these Jewish people bought tons of property and built apartments, and when the train line came and there was no boom, their property values started to hemorrhage. And there was one real estate agent who convinced all these Jewish people to rent to black people. And that's how the black migration started in Harlem. And that was pretty fucking rad to read about. What did you learn?
What?
What did you learn?
I learned you like to cough, bro.
I'm glad we both got something out of this.
Yeah. I learned that a lot of jazz, a lot of musicians, bro, like back then, like were performing in all those places like the Apollo.
Yeah.
And so much money was coming in through the
Cotton Club.
the numbers money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
like
too.
people getting rich, like of people losing.
Right. Yeah. Off of their own people, bro. Like that's the other thing, man, is like it's also weird to read about the crack epidemic that hit it because we experienced the crack epidemic out here, I think, first. Actually, you guys probably did because it started in South Central and then it expanded north through California into the Bay Area. But it was weird, man, reading that because, like, I do remember that period. I wasn't...
yeah, man.
You were a little older than me.
When the crack was being sold in my neighborhood, we were Boyle Heights.
Right.
And think about it. I think about it sometimes. Like, where I grew up, where I was living, in Boyle Heights, and our area, if you wanted... We're the only one that was selling crack at that one time.
Right.
Nobody else selling crack in Boyle Heights,
really?
but my neighborhood.
And were those guys driving fucking dope cars?
People were coming in. Koreans were coming in from Koreatown. People from El Sereno. I remember I saw a guy that he used to get all the chicks, bro, in junior high, in high school, in El Sereno.
Right.
Then I saw that fool, bro. Like he was trying to sell his car, bro, for crack. And he goes, man, you a cop. And I said, nah, bro, I know this guy. His last name is Flores.
Right.
I went to junior high with him. He was cool. He's not a cop. And he was trying to give away his Jeep for $500, and he did.
No way. I don't remember seeing this. I do a little bit, but I remember, like, man, like, homies were showing up in the hood with, like, Ferraris and Mercedes.
Bro, hell yeah.
And, like, these dope cars.
I remember, like, watching crackheads show up in cars, and then later on, fucking being all dirty with a 10-speed now.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember crack destroying. Like, that was the thing, bro. It, like, as we deal with this fentanyl thing right now, and again, this goes back to that book, Outrageous. Like, this is, like, we're...
J.D. Vance said that immigrants are the reason his mom was hooked on fentanyl, bro.
No, Chinese people are the reason why.
But on the book,
your mom was hooked on
the
fentanyl.
book, he
Sorry,
never
bro.
mentioned none of that, eh?
No, dude, fuck that
She
shit.
was,
Dude.
she was hooked on painkillers, bro.
Nobody gets you hooked on anything. There's no fucking. There's not like.
Yeah, bro.
There's no country
for real,
trying to
bro.
hook your mom. Your mom's not that special, bro.
For real, bro. You don't know what happened, bro. There was a guy named Juan Ramirez who showed up from Sinaloa and went straight to JDB Van's house and told his mom, "Listen, you puta, take these pills."
This is from the president of Mexico, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, bro.
Nobody can make you do anything, bro,
No.
unless you're buzzed and they're trying
Yeah.
to kiss you, and you gotta decide if you're gonna kiss your homie in the mouth or not. Because sometimes they get too close, they're drunk. They're like, their mouth is right here, your mouth, bro. I wanted to fuck that dude up so much. All right, bro. Did you kiss him too, or what?
I have a friend who. Yeah.
I have a friend that gets. That's why.
Well, you're gonna fucking
like.
lick
I didn't
his
want to
face?
stop. I didn't want to stop drinking because I got too fucked up. I stopped drinking because I drank with too many people that wanted to be gay afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gay all day. But all of a sudden, when they want to wrestle
All of
and
a sudden,
shit,
they're like pinching your shoulders.
they
and
want to
trying to bring you
wrestle.
in.
They want to hold you by the back of the neck and
Yeah, bro.
pull you closer so you can listen to their jujitsu stories. I want to learn jujitsu, but not like to beat up people, to just to like wrestle somebody out of a too close conversation.
I've done that. I've had to do that. I do that all the time. Dude, comics all the time get drunk, start grabbing my neck. Like, let me tell you
Enough about
something.
Gene Pompa, bro.
That's what I was talking about, bro.
That's a homie right there. That's my little bear.
That's my boy, dude.
History for Fools. How long have you been doing this?
How
How
long?
much time we have?
Oh, we're over an hour at least.
All right, man. That was Harlem Nights. You know what we should do, man? I don't know.
Gangsters.
We
of
should
Harlem.
do a history of Republicans and a history of Democrats.
I'm down.
How they got started.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, bro. Which one you want to do? Both or
Let's
one
do
at a
both.
time?
Let's do both.
One in one episode or one in an I think we do both in one episode because if we do one in an episode, people say, "Oh, you motherfuckers talking about politics."
Nah, bro. I think people. Here's the thing. Again, I think me and Felipe are pretty fair about not being partisan in how we talk about this stuff. I would like to talk more because
Remember the Whig? People need to know that the Whig party and all the other parties
right.
are
I think
around.
that like if we do a very fair, balanced, not fucking
The know-it-alls.
yeah. Yeah. I think we should do one episode each.
Remember the know-it-alls? Well, you know what? We'll do one about the history of Republicans first.
Oh, the know-it-alls.
The know-it-alls.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was the know-nothings.
The know-nothings.
The know-nothings.
And then there was another one called they were called the oh man, oh shit.
Or what if one of
They were
us?
called Democrats, but they were more south. They were
Right.
called the Democracies. I don't know.
Can't remember, but that was in Gangs in New York.
Yeah.
I'm down, dude. If you guys have any suggestions, should we do one episode each on Democrat and Republican, or one together? Let
I
us
just
know.
start looking now, bro.
Yeah, I think that should be our next. Let that be our next thing. All right, guys.
History for Fools, man. Don't believe anything we said.
Yeah, don't believe the internet.